Okay, so here we are. We got the case out of the server rack or my cabinet. I have to thank a few people throughout this video actually, but this right here, I gotta thank iStar USA for helping me get the parts that I needed for this. And so iStar USA helped me source some of the parts that I needed to make this more complete, otherwise it really wouldn't work for me. And so this case right here is the D400-7. It's got 4 5¼ spaces. This one I have filled with an adapter that will give me a couple of USB 3.0 ports, as well as a 2.5-inch drive slot, which I'm going to use to put the SSD in. I think I'm going to use it for like the metadata for Plex. That doesn't really need to be hot swappable, but what the hell. And it also includes, a slim DVD drive slot, which isn't here yet. On the other side, it's got 3 5¼ bays and a 3.5-inch bay there down the bottom. The 3.5-inch bay, I'm thinking about putting another dual 2.5-inch drive hot swap. Maybe put 2 of them in there, use them like a reader or write cache. I haven't quite decided yet, but it's not here today, but tomorrow, which of course through video magic you might get to see that. But these 3 5¼ bays, I have a backplane coming in that holds. It's a hot swap backplane that has support for 5 3.5-inch drives, so that'll make things easier there. Not much that's exciting about the inside. It's all pretty typical, but a couple of things that I had to get from iStar was this right here, which is used to support the cards in the server. I needed to get this drive cage that has the 5¼ bays and a couple other small little things, but yeah, so let's go ahead and do a quick tour of the parts that I'll be putting in here. Originally I was planning on just moving over my current desktop configuration, but that Intel processor does not have a Intel graphics card integrated, so I won't be able to take advantage of QuickSync. I do, however, in my current server have a GTX 1060. I'm thinking about getting an M2000 or P2000, but I'm not planning on having that many people stream for me, and I really don't know how I want to set it up yet, and it's kind of up in the air. But anyways, we'll start with this one right here. Got a couple packages here that I've filled in over the week. I didn't need anything super powerful since it's not doing anything else but being a Plex server. But I decided to go with a 9th gen i5 9400. It's a 6-core processor, so got that. Let's see, my motherboard, I wanted to make sure I had enough 16x slots, so I went with the MSI motherboard. This is the Mag Z390 Tomahawk, and it's got, let's see, let's go and get this bad boy out. There we go. Alright. So it's got slots for 2 M.2 drives. I'm only going to be using 1, just because if I use 2 of them, I won't be able to use any of my SATA slots. I do plan on getting a RAID card to support the backplane and everything else, so that I can use some form of a hardware RAID over software, since it's quicker and more efficient. And so 3 16x slots and 2 1x slots. So this is the first time I ever had a board that had the I/O shield pre-installed, so that's going to be our board, our processor. And a 480 gigabyte SSD, which I'll be using for the metadata. The OS, depending on which one I plan on installing, I'm just going to go ahead and put on a 128 gigabyte M.2 drive. The system, I decided I wasn't sure if I was going to go with 8, 16, or 32. I decided to go with 32 gigs of RAM, primarily so that I could use half of it, or a quarter of it, or something. Maybe I'll make a cache drive out of part of it when I'm transferring some stuff, and but I plan on making a RAM drive so that I can use it for temporary transcoding. So there was those. Also, I got a Western Digital Easy Store drive. These have been famous for people creating their own NAS servers because inside of them they tend to have a Western Digital red drive. So I'm kind of banking on that. This is an 8 terabyte model, so hopefully I'll have at least one red drive, and as they go on sale at Best Buy or other retailers, I'll probably grab a couple more and eventually expand it to fill all 5 of them bays that we talked about just a few minutes ago. Also, in order to help improve my transfers across my network, a lot of this is going to be, we'll all have a huge learning curve because I'm doing things, or plan on doing things that are, new and out of my normal comfort zone. For example, let me set these down. I got a rack-mounted switch, and I didn't get just a regular 16-port switch. I decided to get one with PoE, and there's a reason for that. And this isn't a unmanned, just a managed switch. So it has additional features that I'm not familiar with, but as I'm learning this whole server business, this would just be one more layer of things that I want to learn more about. Now the PoE on this is going to come in handy. For the other deal, I have a 10 gigabit network card already in my main desktop PC. I'm planning on putting one in here. The RAID server, storage server that I showed you that's already in my cabinet also has 10 gigabit. So instead of doing what you may have seen on Linus Tech Tips, where Linus was using a couple NIC cards to hook up just 2 computers on an individual network so that 10 gigabit could be transferred between them, I decided to get the Microtek, it's pronounced so many different ways, but this is a PoE or power adapter powered switch that's 10 gigabit. On a budget, this is perfect. It's got 4 SFP plus slots for the 10 gigabit, and so I'll have one for the RAID server, one for this server, and my desktop. I might go ahead and run 2 to the RAID server because it does have 2, I don't know, maybe not, but then it also has basically a regular 1 gigabit RJ45 uplink, which is also PoE. So this can be powered by my TP-Link 16-port gigabit router. So we'll have that, and so instead of using fiber, I decided I'm going to go ahead and go with a DAC, or a direct attached copper SFP plus. So I'll be using that to connect the server, my desktop, to this switch. Also, I mentioned that my storage server in my cabinet has 10 gigabit, but it is RJ45. So I got I don't know if Cat 8's legit, but it might be. But this is a Cat 8 RJ45. And here I got an optical module, or just a SFP plus module. This will be used so that I can plug in an RJ45 connection to my new 10 gigabit switch, just like that. So that'll give me one 10 gigabit RJ45 port that I'll use to connect my storage server, and then my direct attached copper cable will just connect normally right there. It's got a little pull tab to release it. So that's what we got going on. So now, through the magic of video, I'm going to start putting the CPU and memory onto this board, and we'll get it installed with this case. Get everything, most of everything installed, because I don't have my back plane yet. Real soon. We'll get that all put together, put this back in the server, get this rack installed, and we'll go from there. So we'll go and cut here, and we'll go to a part 2 after this, putting everything together. Alright? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, or in the next video. Don't go nowhere.